Hi guys, Laura from Hedgehog's Homestead here. Last week we did a canning video on raspberries. This week we are doing a canning video on Marionberries. And the only difference between this canning video, sorry, I found a bad Marionberry, is they say crush the berries on this one. And they also say, I'm not going to crush all these berries though, because I have barely enough for this recipe and they will break down in the process, so I'm not too worried about it. And this recipe also calls for 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and 7 cups of sugar. So we're going to go ahead and go with 6. So I like to cut it by just a little bit. Okay, and this called for 4 cups of berries and I have 5 in here. So I'm just going to gently crush these. I'm not going to crush them a whole lot. It said 4 cups of crushed berries, so there we go. Good enough. So now we're going to do 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, guys. And the reason why you have lemon juice in this and not the other, because raspberry, when we did our raspberry jam the other day, it didn't have any lemon juice in it, and that's because raspberries are acidic enough. So can't skip the lemon juice because that is important ingredient. You can mess with the sugar, you can mess with the amount of berries, but you can't skip the lemon juice because that will give you proper storage on your shelf. Okay. So now it says 7 cups of sugar and 1 package of, or 1 pouch of your liquid pectin, and I have that. So we're going to do 6 cups of sugar, 1, 2, and I'm using a loose interpretation on that because I'm not filling each scoop perfectly packed. 4, 5, 6. Okay. So now we're going to get this on the stove. I'll bring you guys in closer. This will start breaking down. We're going to let it boil for a whole minute, just like we did with our raspberries. Add our liquid pectin and then cook it for another 10 minutes. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring my canner back up to a boil while we're cooking this. It shouldn't take long because I just used it, but I'm putting these videos out a week apart. If I wasn't just starting, or if I had that started recently, I would have started that way before I started even putting my stuff together. Okay. Both of our jars of our raspberry sealed, and we are going to get to this. So I'm going to bring you guys a little closer so you can see what's going on inside my pot. So I'm turning my stove on to high, There's a look inside my pot. Get my handy dandy spatula here. You have to keep a good eye on it because sugar can burn. And since there's no other liquids in here, there we go. Now you don't need a bulk canner like I have. You don't need a bulk canner like I have over here. You can do this with a pot as long as you, on the stove, as long as you have some kind of like something to put on the bottom of the pot, like, you know, something like this that would keep the can or jars directly on the bottom of your pot. But just so you know. I'm just lightly stirring that. This one I'm not going to worry about it breaking down. I don't care. It's the raspberries that are kind of really delicate. Marionberries are not very delicate. Get my masher and mash this a little more. I don't like how big they're staying, so. And these Marionberries are so big, they're like a full bite in your mouth, so a berry. This is probably only going to make 3 more jars of jam. So once it comes up to a boil and it stays at a boil even though I stir it, or I'm going to add my minute timer. Okay guys, we're at our boil. Now I'm going to get my liquid pectin out. We're going to cut that package open after we give it a good shake. had been 1 minute that it had been boiling, so we added the pectin. Okay. Now we're going to bring it back up to a boil. Sorry you guys missed that part. It had been boiling for 1 minute when I added the pectin. So now I'm bringing it back up to a boil. And when it comes to a rolling boil and it doesn't stir out, you know, when you're stirring it, doesn't go away when you're stirring it, then you add your timer. And it looks like we're about there. So I'm gonna turn it down just a little more because it keeps on rising up on me. Don't need it boiling over. Can you imagine what kind of mess that would be? That's a nice little boil right there. So it's not boiling out of your pot. It's starting to gel up, but not quite. Still a little too liquidy. That's really good. That Marionberry. Almost there, guys. That is delicious. Those Marionberries are a winner, guys. Just a couple more minutes. That's what you're looking for. See how it just coated that spoon? Okay. Siri, show me my timer. We have 3 minutes left. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off now. See, it doesn't even come off when you go like this, so. And now I'm gonna go ahead and scoop the foam out of here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, we only scoop the foam because it doesn't look appetizing. There's nothing wrong with it in your jam, so if you don't want to, don't worry about it. Or if you forget, a lot of times people forget. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to bring you back to my table where I'm going to jar this up for you guys. Cleaned my funnel from the last one. I have my tongs. This gets really hot on the stove, so Okay, now let's get our jars out of the dishwasher where they've been staying nice and warm. I'm only gonna take 3 out because the last batch only gave me 3, so. Most people do these in smaller jars, but if I was giving them away as gifts, I would do that. Plus those little jars are really hard to find right now, guys. So we're gonna do 1/4 of an inch of headspace, 1/4. I'm gonna eyeball that because I don't know where my measuring tool went. That's 1/4 from the top, guys. Now, if I hadn't been canning for a long time, I wouldn't do that, but there we go. So if you have a canning kit, use on your debubbler, there is a little measuring tool that you can put right on the side of your jar. Oh, this smells heavenly. Careful, it's very hot. That one's got a little much on it. About a teaspoon or so. There we go. Opportunity to taste it, right? That's really good jam, guys. Gonna go perfect with some homemade bread. I have a little jar here. So this went a little further, that's good. Ouch, ouch, ouch. We got a little sampler jar. It's nice to always have a little sampler jar. At least it isn't as big as this sampler jar. Okay, and I like to get this in the water right away. Okay, and now I'm going to wipe these off with vinegar, water, or vinegar, just not vinegar, water. And we are going to get them in the canner. Turn my canner on all the way. I had it just on high earlier. Here we go, 3 jars. Nice 3 1/4 jar of Marionberry jam. That's going to be wonderful. here I have my nice clean lids. We put our rims finger tight. Wipe that off with vinegar water. So you make sure you get our vinegar. So you make sure you get a solid seal. And then the last one. Okay, let's get these in our canner. 10 minutes in the canner. As soon as that gets to a rolling boil, we are going to start our timer for 10 minutes. And after 10 minutes, I'll bring you guys back and we will calm out. And so a week from now, we will be bringing you guys probably either pie filling, blackberry or blueberry pie filling, or blueberry jam. We might even make some desserts with blueberries. I have a lot of blueberries. They're so easy to pick, those big blueberries, compared to these little Marionberries and raspberries. So we will be back in 10 minutes, guys. Siri, give me a timer for 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes and counting.
Okay, you guys, now we're gonna take that Marionberry jam out of the canner. And remember, we're gonna hold it straight. Never bend it, turn it, any of that stuff, because you can't have a jar that breaks. Especially if you're pressure canning an item, those jars get quite hot. These can as well, especially with this kind of a sugary substance in it. Don't discount how hot these jars can get, so be careful. Now I'm going to wipe off the water. You don't have to do that. The jars will seal the way that they are. That one already popped. So we have 2 popped already. All right, you guys, that is our canning. We will be making a canning. There's your third pup. All right, you guys, thank you for coming along with me on canning today. I hope to see you next week as we can our blueberries and maybe some blueberry pie filling. I also have a couple of other canning videos out there, so I will be making a list. So if you want to watch all of them together, that's great. And please like and subscribe, share us on your social media. It really helps our channel out. And as always, God bless you guys. The recipe you saw here today is in this canning book. Look for it on Amazon or anywhere this canning books are found.